Hi, my name is Wendy Wesley of Wendy Wesley Nutrition, and I'm a registered and licensed dietitian nutritionist. And today I want to make one of my favorite things, and it is a kale Brussels sprout slaw. And I make this when I make my pulled pork, and I put this slaw on top of the pulled pork tacos. And boy, it is good. And because these are hearty vegetables, meaning that their water content is low, they last for a long time and the slaw does not get soggy. So here are my ingredients. I'm using some kale. This is just some curly kale, some Brussels sprouts, and I got some leek tops, which I know might be kind of strange, but again, these are a low water vegetable and they're gonna kind of hold up and last for a while. And I also have some green onions that I'm gonna add. I also have some cilantro. Hold out the cilantro if you don't like it. For some people, the cilantro is soapy. For me, I think the cilantro is fresh. So ask yourself, are you a cilantro soapy or a cilantro fresh? Because it kind of makes a difference. But I love it on top of tacos and basically everything else. So I always start by giving my knife a little sharpening on the steel. Switch hands, right? This is just a standard kitchen knife I got in a kitchen store. Not a very expensive knife, but I do every time I cut vegetables, especially these things like kale and Brussels sprouts, it's hard on the knife. And so I try and give it a quick run on the steel. And I'm not really sharpening, I'm just kind of honing the blade. Just holding it at about a 30-degree angle against the steel. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of an edge, not sharpening, just kind of honing. Okay, that's a quick thing I do before I cut vegetables. The other thing I do before I cut is I put on my glasses because I will cut myself. So I'm gonna take the stem out of this this kale. You see the stem? I'm just gonna cut right along the stem. Just get rid of that. And what I do is I fold it up into like a ball or kind of a little container or whatever you want to call it. And I give it just like a quick slaw chop, and I'm trying to cut it as tiny as possible. And I'll tell you why in a sec. I'll tell you why right now. I'm going to add some lemon juice, and lemon juice is an acid, of course. An acid will soften this kale and make it just a little, when after it sits for about an hour or two, the acid from the lemon juice will kind of soften it, make it a little softer. It won't lose the crunch altogether, because you want the crunch on top of your pulled pork taco. At least I do. So I put this in the bowl. Here, my little trusty bowl. Next, I'm going to do my Brussels sprouts. I'm going to take off the stem. This is where it was attached to the stalk. The stem is where it was attached to the stalk, kind of a vertical stalk. Cut that off. I'm going to cut it in flat. I'm going to cut it in half, and that's so I can get a flat surface. I like to cut flat. When I teach cooking, I always teach people to get a flat surface, especially on something round like a Brussels sprout, so that you can cut safely. So I've got my Brussels sprout flat. It's flat and not moving around on my cutting board. I always use a wood cutting board, and I'm going to give it, just like I did before, kind of a quick, I guess what they call a chiffonade, which is French for like a very, very thin cut, like that. Carefully turning it over, cut flat. And so now I have these nice pieces that kind of, when I rub them together, kind of rub them all together, they kind of come into like a slaw material, right? And the traditional slaw is cabbage, but I kind of like to use kale. I think it holds up better, and I just like the Brussels sprouts. I'm always trying to find new ways to use Brussels sprouts. Again, I have the other half of the Brussels sprout, and I'm just gonna cut flat, chiffonade, up and down, safely, minding my fingers, using my claw grip, okay, like rub it together, and I've got this lovely, lovely slaw here that I'm just gonna throw in. Okay. Next, I'm going to do my leek tops. These are pretty crunchy, but again, the lemon that I'm going to add will soften them. Again, quick chiffonade, and throwing those in. These are slightly oniony, not really intense oniony, just slightly oniony. But I do like onion, and so I'm going to add these green onions. So pull off this outer kind of wonky edge. And again, just a quick chop. I don't have to be so tiny with these because this green onion is softer, and it will kind of get softer faster because it has more water content. And so what you're doing with vegetables, you're kind of taking a look at what has more water content. These onions, these green onions definitely have more water content than the kale, because you can kind of tell by just, I can press this, and this is a bit harder to press. Again, it's all about water content. So I have Brussels sprouts, I have kale, I have leek tops, and I have onions here in my bowl. Pretty. And So I'm going to add some acid. This is just bottled lemon juice. You can also do bottled lime juice or fresh lemon juice or fresh lime juice. I'm just gonna add, I don't know, a couple tablespoons of this lemon juice. Okay, and again, this is an acid. It's going to soften the greens. And then, okay, y'all don't hate me. It's either gonna be mayo or it's going to be some ranch dressing. And that's what I'm going to use to make my my dressing. I'm going to start with a little bit. You can always add more. You can't take away. You don't want this to be kind of a soupy, sloppy thing. Just want to give it a little bit of wet. And I'm going to choose ranch today. And I'm just going to pour on a couple of tablespoons. Okay, there's 1 and there's 2. That's about 2 tablespoons. And mix it up quick with a spoon. Now I'm going to let it sit. This lemon, this acid will soften the greens. This ranch dressing will make it kind of, give it some flavor, give it some wet. Let it sit for about an hour, and then this is going to be wonderful. That goes on top of my pulled pork, which was a pork butt that I made in my slow cooker with a little Worcestershire sauce and a little barbecue sauce, just a little bit in the bottom. Put it on all day at low, and man, that was the best pulled pork I ever made. That, I think I finally got that recipe all dialed in. I'm happy to share that with you too. It's such an easy thing for Sunday. Put it on Sunday morning, and then you have a fantastic pulled pork dinner for Sunday night and leftovers throughout the week. So here is my awesome slaw. It, again, kale, Brussels leeks and onions, lemon and ranch. I'm not gonna add any salt because my taco fillings are salty and there is salt in the ranch. So you don't wanna do salt. I'm not gonna add any salt to this. It's gonna be just fine. My name is Wendy Wesley and I'm a registered and licensed dietitian and nutritionist, and I thank you for listening. Okay, bye-bye.